The last time I had you on, as I'm sure you remember, you called out forcefully the Vice President, Joe Biden, over his comments about his ability to be civil and work with segregationist senators in the 1970s. On Saturday, he apologized. You said thank you.
Well, I said a lot more than that. First of all, it shouldn't have taken him 18 days to do that. As I said at the time when we talked, we need a nominee. We need the next president to be someone who can speak to racial issues and could take risks and open themselves up and have an open, honest dialogue. And if they make a mistake, and we all do, not to fall into a defensive crouch and demand an apology from other people. In this case, he demanded an apology from me. And so, of course, I'm very grateful that he did the right thing. I'm sorry it took him 18 days. And even more than this, it shouldn't have taken him years to address the 1994 crime bill. And the fact that it was one of the things that supercharged mass incarceration in this country, that has many people still serving unjust sentences today. So the fact that he's suddenly now speaking to issues he should have spoken to either when they immediately happened, like 18 days ago, or 18 days before, or larger issues like the crime bill, this is good, it's healthy, I welcome that. But I think it's just the beginning of the kind of conversation we need to be having in this country, because these are real issues that have their legacy in really harmful things, costing us billions of dollars, incarcerating people, and costing them their liberty, one of our most valued and cherished ideals.
Before we run out of time, I've got to ask you about this. The Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was asked today about an NBC report that said that his relatives were slaveholders and whether that would change his view against reparations. Listen to his response.
You know, I find myself once again in the same position as President Obama. We both oppose reparations, and we both are the descendants of slaveholders.
How do you respond to that?
You know, I mean, Mitch McConnell doesn't seem to even in any way there express an understanding of these issues, or, you know, the bill that I have in the Senate, which would call people together to study this issue, the legacy of slavery.
Let me just ask you there before you go, because I know, and I'm going to let you talk about that. I rarely have seen you at a loss for words. Why are you at a loss for words over this? Over that response? I
mean, first of all, I didn't hear this earlier today, so this is the first time I'm responding. And dear God, this has been a couple years of my life for Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump, where things come out of their mouth that I just sometimes have to just take a step back for a second and gather myself. This is not the spirit we need from our leaders on either side of the aisle. I just sat with Mike Lee today and talked openly about the racial disparities in our criminal justice system that has created a nation that now we have more African Americans under criminal supervision than all the slaves in 1850. And for anybody from Joe Biden to you name it to not understand why in communities of color this criminal justice system is just abjectly without sort of moral fiber, moral strength, that we live in a country where people do not understand how racism pervades systems that perpetrate such savage injustices, where people who watch what's happening with Epstein and can see all these things we've talked about tonight are tied together in such ignorance of the pain and hurt it causes. I had a woman come to me today named Ebony, whose father is incarcerated. He's 65 years old, has been in for decades for a nonviolent crime. And every day it's coming up to yet another, just had another Father's Day, another birthday where she can't be with her father. And the way she looks at all of this and the legacies of just institutional racism, of implicit racial bias, of all the things that we could be talking about and working on together. And to think this just hurts one community, doesn't hurt us all. We need leadership from both sides of the aisle. This is what I saw in Mike Lee today, that can call it like it is, stop the cynical political rhetoric, and begin to heal in this country, bring people together to do something about these problems.
Well, I just want to say, I know that you have a bill, and you've talked about it before, but it's to study reparations and if it's even feasible. But we have to talk about that another time, because we're unfortunately out of time. But they can check your website and find out about the bill. Senator Cory Booker, thank you for your time.
Thank you.